What's up, everybody? This is not specifically WOTWW, but the General Johnston here, and me, WW97, doing a little co thing here. It's only us two right now because everybody else is, it's holidays, they have their own things to do, work, etc. But today we're going to be talking about the Crisis on Earth X, which is this year's DC CW TV crossover event. So we're going to be sharing our thoughts and just comment what you think, and let's go from there.
Yep, so we're doing this little co-cast right here talking about it. And it was better this year than I think it's ever been in the last 4 years they've been doing it. Because first year, Arrow versus Flash.
I mean, that one I enjoyed that one.
I did too. I thought it was a good one. It was on such a small scale. It's nothing like it is now. And then season two, of
Vandal
Flash,
Savage.
it was them versus Vandal Savage, and they had the whole thing with the legends being created, kind of, afterwards. And then third season, Heroes versus Aliens with Dominators, and then the fourth season of Flash now, which would be sixth season of Arrow, or third season, right?
Yeah, third of Legends.
Third of Legends, and third of Supergirl, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, it is third of Supergirl.
It's the Crisis on Earth X. So what Crisis on Earth X is? There's 52 Earths in the CW TV universe, which actually, in one of the episodes, Harrison says there's infinite ones, and then in another one he says there's 52. So I think there's 52 known universes, like that they kind of know of. Except there's a 53rd one they just found out about, which is Earth X, and it's where the Nazis won in World War II, basically.
They developed a nuclear bomb before the United States or Russians did, so they won World War II.
Man.
And, I mean, if you can see on the screen, there's the evil Arrow, evil Supergirl, and actually Reverse Flash from Earth 1. Being the instigator. My man, Eobard. So,
okay, so
there was so many good things about it, dude.
I think I'll pass this hero test.
There were so many good things about it, especially like all the people at the end, dude. The final fight, like in this crossover, they had so many characters, and bruh, there's so much happened.
But I'll always be here.
it was really cool, but there's some flaws. Not like production flaws, but kind of plot, like story.
Yeah, there's definitely the production value on this was great, and the directing I think was good. The characters did amazing. I just think the plot wasn't the best. I mean, like nothing beats the plot of season 1 and 2 of Flash, and like season 2 of Arrow, and honestly, I think season 5 of Arrow was really good too. But like the plot of this, it was good, but they could have done a little bit better with the story, like the motives for everybody.
So obviously, the first part of this whole crossover was the Supergirl portion. So, with what was going on in Supergirl is, a guy who died in this second season just returned in the new season. She's all this struggle with who she wants to be more, Kara or Supergirl. And to get away from it all, she takes a break and goes to Barry and Iris's wedding, which...
Because spoiler alert, which is fine in this video, Barry and Iris are getting married. And that's the beginning of the crossover. Which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I like how they kind of take a break from all of the main plot stuff in all of the shows, just to like focus on this one thing. This is unlike the first two crossovers, the Arrow versus Flash and the Vandal Savage one. This one and the Dominators one, they never bring these characters back. Like, it's not like they're gonna bring back the Earth X people or they're gonna bring back Dominators. Like, I mean, they'll have the Dominators and Legends of Tomorrow, but like that's what
I will
I hate to
follow.
call it garbage, but every time one
It's
of
just
the
like it's almost like the weekly villain type thing. It's like
yeah,
the seasonal villain, the annual, you know,
as
every
soon as
year
they have a
there's one
card,
villain that everyone gets together and fights.
yeah, and like once they're done with those villains, they just turn into garbage and they throw them into to be in a later episode of Legends of Tomorrow.
Which is one of the problems I had with this year specifically was the villains were, I mean, they were cool, I guess. I mean, not my favorite thing, but I know how some people are probably like, oh, that's so cool, evil versions of them. But I don't really like the whole doppelganger thing to begin with. But I think, with this year specifically, there's just no really redemption value for the villains. I mean, they had Eobard in there, and he's from Earth One, which you're not really sure about his motives. He's just kind of an instigator, and I still don't know why he did what he was doing, and like why he was letting them boss him around and all this stuff. I don't understand. And
So the
afterwards,
whole
you're not gonna see these
Supergirl and
people.
Arrow love thing.
Yeah, which that I enjoyed that. What I did not like, what I absolutely hated most of all about this crossover was the whole Oliver and Felicity thing about I don't want to marry you. Like no one cares, Felicity. Like at the very beginning, at the very beginning where they had the bachelor party, they were all together, having a little party before they got married, and everyone's having a good time, and Oliver is just like, "Oh, Felicity, I want to marry you." And Felicity flips out. She's like, "No, I don't want to marry you." And then, spoiler, at the very end of the crossover, they get married. It's like that whole part didn't need to be in there.
See, here's one whole thing I don't like about the way Arrow and Flash and all of that deal with the love interests. They pretty much rely on the fan base to choose the love
That's
interests,
true.
which
Yeah.
I hate. I hate that because like it's the CW, it's the way they go. Like they do what the fans want, and like they don't really look into how things would actually play out. Like they'll just do it, and they're like, "Oh crap, what are we gonna do next?"
Yeah, and
Like,
I think I'm thinking about this right now, and it's probably hard for them to decide because there's fans of the show, and then there's fans of the comics. And if you're fans of the comics, you're going to watch the show, but you want the show to line up with the comics. But if you're just fans of the show and not the comics, you just want to see something, good happen in the show. So if you don't ever read the comics or care about that or anything, and you like Felicity, you're going to be okay with them together. But if you're fans of the comics, you're not going to want them together. You know what I mean?
I do completely. Just like I mean, Barry and Iris. Obviously, completely okay with that. That is awesome. But like the Flash relationships, all good there. All good there.
Yeah,
Um, Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, it's
I like
they
it.
kind of they kill off their love interests a lot. So I mean,
That's true.
because you had Sarah who liked Leonard Snart, and then Leonard Snart sacrificed himself and died. But now here's one thing I really hated: the parallel Earth version of Captain Cold.
Yeah, there was very few parts I liked about him. I think the character, I think I can't remember the actor's name right now, but
Sinister Cold.
is that Wentworth Miller? Is that what his name is?
Yeah, Sinister Cold is what the
Citizen Cold. Yeah.
oh Sinister.
Yeah, because he's a good guy, but I think he did the character very well. I just don't think they wrote the character well. Like he performed it very well, but story wise, what do you think about Ray?
Well, not
The new
he's
hero.
a main now. Which new hero?
Ray, the guy that was flying alongside Barry.
Oh, he was pretty cool. That was
I liked him.
enjoyable.
Yeah, I liked it. I can get behind him.
They have Citizen Cold is a regular on Legends now.
I saw
Which,
that.
I
So
mean, it's pretty cool.
There's
But
good and bad things
they're
about
taking
it.
off. They're it's the only reason he's back, but the guy Mick Rory Heatwave, he's getting thrown off the show.
Really?
Yeah, just like that's why they killed off Martin Stein.
Okay, I was just about
because
to talk about that. That's the big thing.
he
I don't
was
care what anyone says. That's what mattered in this crossover. I go ahead.
well
I'm gonna
he wa
cry.
the actor wants to get back into his musical career, which I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, just that was really well done, to be honest. Just the way they played that out, like
Okay, out of every season of all of the CW shows, there was only 2 deaths that were legit, like legitimate. You know what? I'll take that back. I'll take that back. There were 3 deaths. Season 1 of Arrow with Tommy, they did that very well. That was a good death. I'm okay with that. Season 1 of Flash with Eddie, I love that death. I think that was one of the best deaths in the CW. And then season 4 Flash with Martin Stein and all that. Martin Stein, that dude, Firestorm in this whole crossover was my favorite character and probably my favorite character in the CW universe, in the Arrowverse, Clariverse, whatever. My favorite character, and I was so sad when he died, but I was happy how they did it because it was so perfect. And with Jackson, whoever the actor is for Jackson, killed it. Like those actors are
well,
amazing.
one thing I'm really curious of though is like, are they gonna in Legends? Are they gonna like stabilize the Firestorm Matrix and
They
just
did.
him?
No, well, no, they can't. The serum that he drank, because what happened was I'm explaining this for people watching. He drank a serum, and it tricked the Firestorm Matrix into thinking that Martin was still there. So like the Matrix was completed between the 2 people, so one wouldn't become unstable. But he can't actually turn into Firestorm because he's not actually connected to Martin. But the Firestorm Matrix just thinks he is. So he'll be stable, but he can't actually use the powers because he's not actually connected to him still. If that makes sense. Which I think they did
Yeah,
that perfectly. I still don't really understand why they split up. I mean, I do. I still think they were super powerful as Firestorm, one of the most overpowered heroes. So they had to make them split up to go completely objective. And the way Martin died when they just kept shooting at him and kept crawling, dude, I was like, Martin, you got this, man. You got this.
yeah, that was like I was like, oh no.
So what was your favorite part overall? Favorite character, favorite part?
Martin, favorite character.
Mine
As
was
much as
Martin and Jackson. So Firestorm. If like this whole crossover, that's the main reason to watch this.
I really did enjoy them. And you would usually say my favorite would always be, Arrow, but he's
Arrow,
not
yeah.
this time. He's definitely not. I think, like, I didn't like the alternate version of him. I'm sorry, just him being all like, "Oh, Supergirl," all this other. No, I hated that. That
Yeah.
was
I didn't
and
like.
the whole
I liked the alternate version, the evil version of Arrow more than the evil version of Supergirl. The evil version of Supergirl kind of got on my nerves.
yeah.
But
It's like, oh,
they're
I
evil
need I need
Nazis.
your
So,
heart.
so why was okay? Let's try to think about this. Why was Reverse Flash there? Did they even say?
I think the reason, I mean, out of all of the universes they could go to, you know how many Supergirls there are? They go to that universe.
Yeah.
So I think Eobard purposely like convinced them to go to that Earth just to like see if he can get his revenge against Flash or whatever. So pretty much he probably just manipulated them to choose that Earth of all the Earths that have like Superman and Supergirl and stuff at them. They convinced them to go to Earth 1.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense because okay, they should have explained that more because Eobard probably manipulated them to go to Earth 1 because Supergirl's actually from I think Earth 36 somewhere around
Yeah.
there, and he could have just said, "Hey, go to Earth 36 and get her while she's by herself," but he probably wanted them to destroy all the metas and heroes on Earth 1, and he knew about Barry's wedding because he knows everything about Barry. So he was just waiting for Barry's wedding to manipulate them to say, "Oh, look, Supergirl's from Earth-1. You know, she's there for the wedding. You know, all this stuff." So
Yeah, that's
okay, so okay, I can get behind that. I mean, it's worth watching. I mean, it was a really good crossover, but you know,
the fight is outstanding.
yeah, the fight at the end was amazing.
Oh, one of the Kryptonite arrow. That was my favorite
Yo.
comic book reference.
That was such a cool scene too. She's like, "Why do you have a arrow?" Pulls out this kryptonite arrow, shoots evil Supergirl with it. Good Supergirl's like, "Why do you have that?" He's like, for moments like this."
Like, that's just great. I think he said like for people like you or something like that. Something around there.
Something like that. So, anything we're leaving out? There's a few things I'm waiting to talk about. One cool character was Red Tornado. Red Tornado was in this.
Yeah, that was awesome.
When I saw him, I was like, "Oh, that's cool," because I really like him from the comic books. They probably could have done a little bit better with Tommy, because spoiler, Tommy was in the very, very beginning of the second episode.
In the Prometheus suit.
He was evil Prometheus from Earth X. It was actually Tommy. I think they could have. They probably couldn't have actually done anything else because the actor probably wasn't available.
They probably could. They probably just didn't want to push it. And I did like the fact that they used the cyanide thing as a reference to what the Nazis did when they got captured in World War II.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was. I was like that's classic. Like even though they're like futuristic Nazis, they did a classic Nazi thing there. I was like, you know what? That was awesome.
Yeah, I wish, like, I just miss some of the old characters, like, Malcolm. Deathstroke.
The only thing that would have made the scene better, okay, is when he, like, after he's talking to Oliver, and he said, "Hail Hydra," and then bit the cyanide.
That would have been hilarious. But, I mean, hey, they could have done that. They made, Superman references. Not Superman, I'm sorry, Spider-Man references.
Yeah,
in Legends, and then in Arrow they made Incredible Hulk references.
That they did. They made the Batman reference in Flash too with the sign.
With the symbol, yeah.
And they just recently did a Batman reference in Arrow.
They said Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
They said actually, he's like, "What do you think I am, Bruce Wayne?" So one thing, did you notice? I'm about to blow your mind if you have not heard this yet. I'm about to blow your mind. Did you see Barry and Iris's daughter?
No, I didn't.
Well, obviously, in the future, Barry and Iris have kids, right? And they become speedsters, you know, Bart, etc. Well, in the comics, they have a daughter, and I'm pretty sure you get to see their daughter in this, and you don't realize it. Remember at the very beginning of the first episode, right when they're about to get married, or I should say at the end of the first episode, they're about to get married, and Barry's waiting, you know, in the front, and the waitress walks up to him, and it's like a light-skinned waitress who actually looks like if Barry and Iris had a daughter, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm so happy to be here." And she was just looking at Barry and smiling, you know? And Barry was like, who are you? Where'd you come from? And she was just like, "I'm just so happy to be here." And I was like looking at him and smiling and everything. And she was like, "Just remember to say I do." And then she walks away and we don't see her ever again.
For all we know, though, even though that would be a huge possibility, for all we know, it could just be like a Nazi messenger or something like that.
But I thought about that, but you don't see her ever again in any of the episodes.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, at the second half of this season of Flash, they're gonna do stuff with future people from Flash's family coming back, and he's gonna see her and be like, "I recognize you. You were at our wedding." And she's just gonna be like, "Yeah, I wanted to see you guys get married and everything, because she can travel through time like them and all this stuff." That'd be cool. You know, it's just a theory.
Okay, so let's off Crisis on Earth X. Even though outstanding as it was, or how do you feel about this season of Arrow? Like, it kind of started off in a bad way with like, I know they said they want to focus on his family in this one, which I don't have a problem with. But they went right off the bat with him only having one episode as the Green Arrow and just giving Diggle, and then Diggle being addicted to drugs, and then
Yeah, and at first, off the first like 3 episodes, I was like, you know what, this isn't too good. But then I thought about it more, and I actually really like this season, even though you only get to see him like 2 times in this season in the Arrow costume. Even though he's not really in the Arrow costume too much, he's still Arrow, and it's just a really cool dynamic between him and the team because he's away, not really being a part of the team, and the team's doing their own thing, and the whole thing with Vigilante and the team not trusting each other.
the Deathstroke thing was awesome.
Yeah, the Deathstroke episodes were amazing, so that was worth it in itself. But at the very end of up to the mid-season finale, um, the team splits up and it's just the original three again. And I like that.
Colton's
I think it's
coming
cool.
back.
Yeah, and Roy's coming back too.
From what I've read, he's only gonna be there for like 2 episodes.
Yeah, yeah. Him and Thea are gonna have some kind of story arc, which is cool, I guess. The only time I like Thea is when Roy's around, so you know.
Yeah, I enjoyed not like the drug addictive part of Thea or whatever, but I enjoyed her in like the first 2 seasons, and then I enjoyed the welcome training thing. That was season 3 is when I wish when she got killed, she just stayed.
Yeah, after Ra's al Ghul chokeslammed her through a glass table, I wish she just would have stayed dead. But you know, it's all good. I don't like her character. Same thing with Felicity. I don't like Felicity's character.
Oh,
Nothing against the actor.
so did you see the mid-season finale of Legends?
Yes, I loved it, dude. I absolutely loved it. I think it was the best.
Constantine, bro.
Dude, was it the best one out of all of them? Let's just go ahead and talk about all of them and say which one's the best and why.
Okay, the mid-season finale of Arrow. It was really good. They went back to the original 3. You know, we all
Team
already
split
know
up,
Roy.
yep.
Roy's coming back. And
Roy's
everything.
coming back. Original 3 teams.
So
well, and then at the very end of the Arrow one, it showed that all the bad guys are working together.
Yeah.
And that was cool. I forget all their names. There's like 6, 7 of them. Yeah, Anatoly.
Yeah. You had Vigilante.
Yep. Black Siren.
Black Siren.
The one drug dealer dude. The main hacker guy, and then another guy that looked like the guy's bodyguard or something. Really bad looking dude. But that's 6 of them.
Yeah, so it looks like it's gonna get really interesting.
And then Flash, which actually Flash was crazy. It turns out the Thinker put his mind, his subconscious into I can't remember the guy's name.
You don't need to know the black guy.
Yeah, because he's actually Devo, or Devo, the Thinker now, and the Thinker with his original body that from the series so far is he basically killed that body, and obviously it's dead now. Put his subconscious into the other guy, made it frame Barry, put his old body in Barry's apartment, and frame Barry for murder. So now Barry has to go on trial for murder. Which is
then the trailer for the new episode shows him that the only way he won't be guilty is if he says that he's the Flash.
Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen, because if he tells everybody, they're gonna have to constantly go on the run. And then Legends, I think Legends was the best one honestly. Because they said goodbye to Jackson. You got to see more of what's the big bad dude's name? I can't think.
It's the first time we actually
first time we actually see him. Sarah has an encounter with him, but I thought it was really cool how Damien Dark turned into Odin.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Awesome. So
I think
out of all of them,
it's really
that
cool.
was the best one, honestly.
I think the reason like Jackson left or whatever is because Rip's returning.
Yeah, Rip's returning. And one character I actually really like is the lady that's the leader of the other organization.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but I do like the girl with the other totem, though.
Oh yeah. I like her too. What's her name? There's so many people on Legends.
I know Nathan. He's supposed to be Steel.
I like Nathan. He's probably him and Ray are my favorite, and then Rory.
Yeah, I'm sad that Rory's gonna be going. That's why Snart's back on the ship is because I don't know. It said something. I was reading an article that this is his last season as a main character.
It's so sad, but it's that way.
Obviously, Sarah's not going anywhere. I have no idea what happened to the whole Hawkman and Hawkgirl. They just vanished after the season finale.
That thing, yeah, they just vanished, dude.
Fighters approaching the Batcave.
I wouldn't mind if Zari just wasn't there anymore. Because I mean, I like her, but she's just not.
It'd be cool if she wasn't a regular anymore, but she showed up every once in a while.
Yeah, because it's not like she is Vixen, and the thing with her is that she
was from the Justice Society.
Yeah, I like her as a character. And they're kind of
done with that arc, so.
I like her as a character. I just don't like her as like a main character, and I don't like her getting emotionally involved with the other characters.
Yeah, her and Nathan, that just keeps going on when it should have died.
It should have died after that episode when they got stuck in the past.
Yeah.
Ray and Sarah are probably the only two characters that will never go anywhere. That's just
Ray
my opinion.
can't. If Ray leaves and Firestorm leaves and McRory leaves, I just they're messing up. But I think this season finale has been like the best one so far. And this one actually has is affected by the crossover. So out of the whole crossover, the Legends are pretty much the only ones that have been affected by it because of Martin dying and Firestorm leaving.
It is.
You know?
Yeah, very, very right. I wonder if Constantine is like.
Constantine's gonna be. I think he's a regular, actually.
That would be really cool.
And you know what? I think Kid Flash might even be a regular. I heard something about that. I'm gonna have to look into that more.
I heard he's gonna be on Legends, but I don't think he's gonna be a main.
Well,
because him and Nathan are good friends or whatever. For when they were like vacationing or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we can make another video about that. I think that wraps up the crossover, though. I think we covered all the main points. There's still a lot, but you know.
Supergirl was they revealed that Power Girl is a thing.
Oh, really? That's cool.
She hasn't been revealed yet, but
she's going to.
Instead of it being Supergirl from another Earth or whatever, it's Supergirl's mom.
Oh, see, I don't like that, but you know, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a shot.
And then one episode that I really enjoyed of Supergirl this season was when they went to Mars and they fought off the white Martians. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
that sounds cool. I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of her episodes. But I mean, the Arrowverse has just been amazing, dude. Every part of it.
Yeah. Arrow, I mean, it had a rough start, but it's getting better.
Yeah, I like this season. I think the second season and the fifth season have been the best, besides the first season.
They did announce that Cupid will have a returning episode.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't like her, man. Hope she dies, honestly.
Yeah, but the thing is, Green Arrow, he doesn't have too many of solo villains for him.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
You got, obviously you have Prometheus, you got Dark Archer, you have Cupid, and then you have
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke's not his villain though. Originally he's Batman's.
Yeah.
He's Teen Titans.
Teen Titans. Yeah.
You got the first ever Green Arrow villain was Vertigo. He's actually Oliver Queen's biggest villain. So if they ever made a DC film with Green Arrow, Vertigo would be the villain.
Honestly, I like for a villain for him, I like the Dark Archer.
Batman.
I love that.
Vertigo, he's like in the comics, he's obviously he has the power instead of like it's drugs and stuff, but like Vertigo is actually a company that rivals like Queen Industries or whatever. Like that's what. And then when Queen Tech when they were they discovered something new, and that's when they went on the boat and everything like that, and that's when Vertigo is the one who took down the boat instead of it being Dark Archer and everything.
Okay, that's cool. It's different.
Captain Cold.
Well, and Unmasked Dark Archer, that was their way of doing it in the show. They had it being Malcolm's idea to take down the boat instead of Vertigo, so they can actually give Dark Archer a bigger story than he had in the comics.
Begin.
What do you think? Well, and then what do you think about for the last thing? We'll go back to Flash, because Legends has been great, but with Flash, what do you think about the new guy?
Yeah, I love Ralph. He's so lovable of a character.
Okay, so you like him. There's a lot of controversy about him. I don't mind him. I think one good thing about him is in the mid-season finale, they kind of gave him an arc. Like they actually gave him like a good story arc, and it kind of made his character a little bit better. So I'm liking him now that you got through the first half of the season. Because his first few episodes, I didn't like him. I don't think a lot of people did. But now he's, a little better.
Well, the thing with him is they didn't push on him too much. Like they had the episode with him being kind of a bad guy, I guess. But it wasn't a bad thing though.
He's more like an anti-hero.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't bad, and then they kind of eased off of him for an episode, and then they went back to him being trained, and then they eased off of him again. It wasn't. I didn't dislike it. We didn't see enough of him to actually not like him.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, rate this crossover out of all four of them. Where does this one go?
Wait, I know. Here's a character I want them to get rid of completely. Killer Frost. She needs to go.
Yes, I agree. She needs to just. Well, Caitlyn can stay. Killer Frost needs to go.
Fighters approaching.
I really I like the Earth 2 Killer Frost, but I don't like Caitlyn as Killer Frost.
Yeah, keep Caitlyn. I like Caitlyn, but leave Killer Frost somewhere.
Harry, I'm so glad they brought him back.
Yeah, I miss HR. You just always remember this. You can't spell hero without HR.
Obviously, the Reverse Flash Wells is the best Wells, but I mean, all of the wells are good except for the Council of
Oh,
Wells.
another cool thing, relating back to cross, I agree with you on that one too. I don't like that, but the crossover, you got to see Eobard Thawne as Harrison Wells from season 1 of Arrow or of season 1 of Flash, and he was rolling around in his little wheelchair at some points. If you notice in Star Labs, I was like, this is
Yeah,
just like season 1.
he was what is it? He does the charge. I forget what it was called.
The Tachyon.
Yeah,
Yeah. I thought that was cool though. They had a little nod to the original Harrison in this crossover, which is the first time we see Eobard dressed up as Harrison since season 1 of Flash. So that was really cool. I enjoyed that. So out of all of them, for me, I think this one's on the top. I think this is the best one, just
I'm a Vandal
because Reverse
Savage
Flash.
one.
So you like the Vandal Savage one a lot?
I like it. Like obviously, the Reverse Flash and the new one. I love this one, but like crossover wise and like plot, if the only one the plot actually came together in was the Vandal Savage one, in my
Yep.
opinion.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. The first one doesn't really count. It does count, but it doesn't count for the plot. I don't think.
Yeah, it wasn't really
It
like it
wasn't
was
really that big of a
actually.
crossover. It was just Arrow featuring Flash and Flash featuring Arrow.
Yeah, it was like a normal episode of Arrow. Like it had like what was it, Captain Boomerang,
Yep, Captain Boomerang.
and then the Flash one. It had whoever the guy was that can like that with that used like the lights or whatever to make people angry.
Yep. Rainbow Raider, I think, maybe not. I think
You're
that was it
right.
though.
You're right.
But this one's I think the best. So I think we should end it there.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so you can close us out, and I'll see you guys next time.
About you go wow wow.